3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Yeah, guys. So, how long have you guys been open for? Are you guys at the
6 years?
Workshop one,
Workshop?
yeah.
Nice,
Chinatown, 6
nice.
years.
And you guys have the one in Port Moody as
Yeah.
well.
That's been a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Miles been around. You guys were like the behemoth in the industry.
I don't know. I think we're like Canada's a small pond, so maybe it's just relative that we
Yeah.
seem like a big fish in it. So I mean, my experience with Myo is I joined a clinic here in Vancouver called Physio Room back in 2015, and then 2017 they joined up with Myo, who's founded in Toronto. So they've been around for 10 plus years now,
Okay.
and here we are now.
Cool. And River District.
Yeah, we just actually celebrated our 5-year anniversary. So
Congrats.
5 years running.
Cool, man. Cool. And then what shaped your guys' like vision for your clinics?
Good question. I think a lot of it came from Melissa and I's experience with the national team. We were at that level. There's sort of a big multidisciplinary approach, and on the national team they called it like the 4 corners. Like there's a physical, mental. I don't know. You know this better. Mel's currently Cairo on the Canadian national team, but basically it was more about the holistic approach, and we kind of wanted, when you're on a sports team and it's so chill in the treatment room, it's kind of like people go there to hang out.
Yeah.
We wanted that, it was like rehab our whole lives has been that experience.
Mhm.
And that's where it kind of originally started from.
Cool. And how about you guys?
I think just being a part of different clinics and taking kind of what was good and what was bad, and then just trying to create a space where we could have a family and everybody has fun together, build something. I think we're lucky to have a good group of people that like to kick it. We spend a lot of time in the office, out of the office together. So
Cool.
yeah, just building something where it's a little bit more family friendly feel and have fun. I think that's the best part about our jobs is we get to have fun while we're doing it. So creating a space where everybody can grow, give them an opportunity. I think that was kind of always our vision.
Cool.
Yeah, man, I think for us, it was slightly different because, when we're working with a large organization, you work within their core values and their mission and vision. I think one thing that resonated with, from what I heard from everyone else, is like that kind of feeling of the culture that you're trying to build.
Yeah.
I feel like our industry has transitioned out of something that maybe felt a little bit more like traditional, sterile, very medicalized, and would kind of get away from that and have it be less reactive.
Mhm.
Very often, clients come to us and they want, the initial thing is I want to get out of pain, right? But we know like the full breadth of recovery is quite a longer journey. And for us, it was just kind of establishing that viewpoint on it, and then from there trying to attract, talent and people that kind of resonate with that.
I think that's kind of, you guys said a few points, like you said like chill, and you guys said community and just fun. And I think our patients feel that a lot. They walk in, but they're not coming into like rehab. Like they are coming into rehab, but it's like a fun time. And I think that's one kind of the lasting impressions that kind of keep people coming back versus kind of the more old school model. You were coming in, you're going to get your hot pack and your stim machine and then like your paper with like some stickman exercises. And it just, that's what people knew of rehab. And I think this newer kind of wave has just totally changed that and kind of blown the doors off that. And
It's
people
interesting
love it.
though. It's interesting because it's like, like all of us are the same. And to your point earlier, being the new age, kind of clinicians, it's like that was all unspoken. Nobody ever complained about that environment. But I think internally we all knew that like this is not for us.
This is lame.
Individually, we all were like, I'm going to create something unique.
Yeah.
And then now that's the new thing, which is super
That's
cool.
a standard, probably. Yeah. Which is great.
I remember even when I like first started, I was told that I had to wear a specific type of clothing.
Nope.
And I remember wearing dress pants. I had to wear dress pants one time, and I was teaching somebody a squat. And I swear my dress pants ripped, right? And that's when I knew I was like, man, like I can't operate like this, right? Like I want to come in and wear whatever I want, and just give myself that flexibility, and everybody else too, right? Like there should be no judgment in that sense, right? We're all different people, so just be comfortable in yourself and be comfortable with who you are, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So you guys at your clinic, your role is kind of I'm a little bit more hardcore at my clinic in terms of I have my business partner Dave and me, and we're both super chill. I'm like a little bit the less chill one when it comes to like those type of things. I'm like kind of calling people. I'm like, hey, like those pants are the wrong color. Like you have to keep within, but it's still like fun, and it's kind of that good, like it's a happy medium of like we're still super chill, we're in Lulu and whatever, but still trying to keep a bit of a brand vibe. So I feel bad because I feel I'm a bit like the taskmaster of that.
I guess I can't push that because I'll walk in with cut off sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Gil probably knows this from our school days, so I'll walk in with a deep V-neck or a deep cut off and
Nice.
Leather jacket, just
That's it, yeah.
oh, this is Selenia's outfit right now.
We
She
just
treats it.
default
shirt
to
on,
like
right?
wearing different versions of black every single day, not by choice, and everybody's wearing the same thing. It's so wild.
My wardrobe from Monday to Friday is just like black, black and blue, maybe a little bit of light blue, but
That's risky, Clayton.
I know. I'm kind of making things a little bit risque out there, so.
Well, to talk to Vic's point, I kind of feel like when I first got out, maybe just to like get over my imposter syndrome, I think I overcompensated. I was wearing like full button ups with the top button done up and like, pants that I definitely could not perform a squat in. But I think that was my way to be like, hey, I'm really new at this, but like at least I look like a professional. I also like when I graduated, I look like I was 15. So
you have to overcompensate a little bit.
And I kind of feel like as you get some years of experience, you get more comfortable, and maybe we're all here at that point where I'm kind of just like, take me as I am,
Totally.
Still trying to be as professional as possible, as appropriate.
I think we're doing a pretty okay job.
Yeah.
Sometimes my parachute pants make it hard to see the squat, though.
You come from the clinic right now? Just
No, going
full parachute.
Full parachute.
I like it.
I got my cut off in the bag.
So yeah, I guess we all have athletic backgrounds as well too. And have you guys felt that and your experiences have influenced how you run your business, like kind of the core essence of your business? And I don't know if you guys can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, especially for us, it's just getting people that work in a team, know how to work in a team and are comfortable working in a team. Is not for everyone, right? And we're an open treatment area, so having that kind of banter and that personality to kind of fit in to our culture. But at the same time, the standards are high, like you're saying, like you're the less chill one. I'm the less chill one, as you can tell. But just having those standards, and it's just more of coming from a high performance background, it just doesn't really die. I mean, I chill out a little bit with age, but just kind of keeping, and that's what helps the clinic thrive, right? Just kind of keeping the standards and keeping the reputation high and in a good space, and a place that people want to come to and people want to work in. So I think the sporting background kind of helped in that sense for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the other side of that is, I think, our personal experience and just quality of treatment. I think we've all been injured. I mean, Mel's heard this a million times, but
Here we go.
I literally broke 8. How many, Mel?
I thought it was 9.
No,
It could be 9 after this.
No,
but
your nose was 10. You broke your nose 10 times, no?
This is not about us.
Wow.
So
Right.
keep going.
Anyways, I think, having those injuries and going through them and the level of treatment we got on the national team from our sports background, it sort of kept that's the standard we want now. And that's what we made sure we have in our clinic.
And Vic, you came from a swimming background?
Yeah, originally swimming. Yeah, I was a competitive swimmer, and then kind of shifted over to a little bit of Olympic weightlifting and wrestling.
Cool.
Afterwards, yeah.
It's a lot of, I think, just having that, like, when you're an athlete or just high level or any type of athlete, just that constant like dedication and like, I'm going to swear right now, but you have to get shit done and you have to be responsible. And it's just those life skills that, are going to permeate in anything you do after the fact. And I think, like you guys said, with this team environment, it kind of bleeds into that. And we have an open treatment area as well, too. I think you guys also open treatment area. And yeah, people love it. It gets a little noisy at times, but people love it, and it's that community and that team feel, and you can start like bouncing ideas off each other. Patients start chatting with each other, but it's just I think if you didn't come from that background, you might be a little more of that siloed clinic style, just your treatment rooms, and you never see your coworkers. I know you said that you guys are Vic, you guys are really community based and team based. You guys hang out, I know, kind of inside work, outside of work. We're the same at Coast as well too. I'm sure at Mayo, you guys are just a pretty close knit family as well, and that kind of comes from that team atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think my background is also kind of like, I was that weird individual sport guy. So I wrestled, did a lot of martial arts. And I think you get from sports, like doing hard things, in addition to that dedication. And we're also used to receiving feedback in all various forms and all that. And I think that's a big piece as well. I kind of feel like a lot of clinicians that enter the field, they tend to have had a long life of just a lot of success. Right. Got straight A's. I've, excelled in everything I've ever done. And then you come out and enter this field and like, we know it's really hard. Right. And sometimes people experience true failure for the first time in their lives. And it's quite interesting that people that have had that sporting background or just other like kind of like hardships or difficult things in their lives, just tend to cope with it better. Right. Yeah. And I think that's just where, probably just, there's more nuanced coaching that comes into it as leaders, and just knowing the person really deeply. But like for myself, not coming from like a team sporting background, I've seen the difficulties of getting like clinicians that are like individual contributors, but aligned on like a common vision and goal. It's not as easy as saying, here, this is what it is, let's all work together, right? Yeah. And often comes down to that person's background and their internal motivations, but not an easy task.
So, and your role now, like you said earlier, you're more of like a clinic director of multiple locations.
Yeah. So there's 6 locations in Vancouver for Maya. We're about to open 7 in July. So all my direct reports are the clinic directors. So every clinic has a clinic director, a lead clinician, and an operations lead. So I have the pleasure of working with them. So definitely not using anything that I went to school for as far as my knowledge and degrees on that side. But it's been a really good learning experience.
Cool. So, and you've probably seen now, or I don't know if you guys have noticed any changes from like when you first opened till now in terms of like you kind of talking about some practitioners like resiliency and stuff like that. I don't know if there's been if things were different, or you see people evolve, or if like even with the type of applicants you get, if you've guys noticed, because I guess you get a good broad view of that. You're kind of looking at so many different clinics, but
yeah, it's true in a way, but we also have like a certain like reputation, and people like view us in a certain way. So it's not, I don't say that we get the full end-to-end spectrum of all the different applicants. If clinicians do their research, then hopefully they're applying because they gel with the core values or gel with our mission and our vision. Of course, you get applicants that are like, you interview them, be like, yeah, tell us what you know about Maya. And they'll be like, I don't know anything. And then, that's pretty much the end of the interview.
Yeah. They're going
but yeah, it's culture is something that like is very often stated. It's really hard to define, and it's really hard to figure out how to develop and maintain. Right.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I think it's cool to see to some of the practitioners that we've hired over time. There's really, they come in trying to almost follow a mold, or that there's a right way to do it. But their success comes when they're just doing it how they are the most comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those I find are the practitioners that have just like, they're thriving in the environment. And it doesn't have to be exactly like the physio or chiro you're seeing next to you treat. We all actually treat quite differently. And it's actually perfectly aligned with our model too, because then you actually do interrefer. Like physios interrefer to physios at our clinic, and I think that's the key for new practitioners. You just gotta like find your own groove,
Yeah, it's cool seeing people find their niche kind of they gravitate towards a certain style, and they've been with the company for whatever 5-6 years now, and you see them grow, and then also the front desk kind of gives them the same patients as well over and over again. So they kind of get this reputation like, oh, I'm like the vestibular person, or I'm like the shoulder guy. We all do everything well. But then they kind of, attract kind of what they put out a little bit. And then they kind of get really comfortable in it, and then they grow from there. And it's cool seeing that kind of evolution of kind of from someone's fresh out of school till, 3, 4, 5 years in.
Yeah, I think it comes back to just making sure they're comfortable in that space and they can be themselves, right?
Yeah.
I think like as leaders, we have to give them an opportunity to grow how they want to grow, right? We can't force things on them. Yeah. I've worked in places where you're told to do things a certain way, but maybe you don't vibe with that or you don't believe in certain things. And so just being yourself, I never want to, like I say, I'm in a position now where I want to know about your life goals. I want to know like more than just, you at the office, like what's your dreams? Like, what do you envision 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And my job is how can I help you get there?
That's cool.
Right. Like if you want to open a clinic, dope. Like I can help you.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you the path that I went down. I'd never be offended if one of my physios came to me and said that, right? In fact, I've had that in the past and laid that out for them. This is what it takes. This is what it costs, do you, right? Like,
that's cool.
Because I never wanted to be put in a position where somebody held me back in life. So why would I do that to another human being, right? Yeah.
I think that's a really good point too. I find in our profession, there often is a ceiling effect. As owners now, the ceiling got lifted and there's like growth. But, not everyone wants to own, and we all know how hard it is and how much work it takes. And, but you have to always think about how are your practitioners going to grow? And we often ask our practitioners that too, like, what? We want this to be your dream practice. You have a course that you want to learn, you want to put on a seminar, like, let us know.
That's cool.
I think that's important though, to make sure that, people are still growing in their environment.
That's one thing we also really, we used to work in another work environment that was the exact opposite. And it just kind of, it wore you down like in your soul. It was bad. So when we opened up Coast, that's one of the things we really hung our hat on, is like that growth, giving people opportunities, really nurturing that. And if we want to open up another clinic, why would we bring someone from the outside in?
Right.
Let's give you that opportunity so you can grow and you can like bust that ceiling off as well too. And people feel that you have their back, and then they're just gonna be with you forever.
Totally.
Right? For the people who do want to, own a clinic, some people they're cool. They'll work their 4 shifts. That's totally fine, right? And they don't want to touch like a spreadsheet or anything, or like no ownership stuff, and that's totally fine as well too. So it's cool having that mix.
Then there's that in between, which is a sweet spot, which is like, I'm not gonna own, but I want to work more than but what's there?
Is there a management opportunity I can have?
Yeah.
We can look at that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So with that being said, have there been any like major like holy shit moments in the past few years you've been open? It's like, wow, that totally knocked my head sideways, and like, what are we gonna do?
I mean, obviously COVID.
Yeah.
I think everyone here has probably been in the same boat, right? Like, it was unprecedented. Like, we've never experienced anything like that in the world. And as a business, being in a healthcare and not knowing any answers, not knowing when we're going to reopen, if we can reopen, like, you're trying to get ahead. I remember I was like buying all the masks. I still have like those glasses that I thought they were going to make us wear. Like, I had everything set.
Each college was different.
Yeah, right.
They're saying this.
Oh my God, RMTs couldn't even get a hold of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were essential or not. I was like,
yeah,
this is an important injury.
It was a wild time. I don't know how you all felt, but
yeah, I mean, just navigating that uncertainty. So at the time when the pandemic hit, so there was a regional director. Her name is Jessie. It's my boss right now. And she went on maternity leave. And at that time, they're like, hey, Gil, do you want to step into this role? I'm like, okay. And then 2 weeks later, we had to reopen after the pandemic. So this was like May of 2020. And same thing. I remember scrambling around and like buying every bottle of hand sanitizer I could find anywhere. We still have 1,000 masks somewhere in the back that we're kind of waiting, for the next thing to kind of roll around. And it's really high stress, and you just like, if I reflect back on it, you just try to do the best you can in that moment. And you just have to be okay with it, just knowing that all this stuff is happening environmentally. And I think in many ways it actually brought our teams together. Like that hardship, getting through it together actually, like, I think made us a lot more resilient.
That's
And
a great
also
word.
like, if anything was going to break the business, it was going to be that.
Mhm.
So to come out the other end, it was just like a renewed sense of confidence. Plus also just like as soon as we reopened, just the flood of clients that came back, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm so happy you guys are open again. I've been suffering. And that was also our foray into the virtual world. We did, I did 100 virtual sessions in that 2-month period.
Whoa.
And for me, I had a really probably like over-index belief in the power of manual and exercise in the one-to-one. And so that was actually a really good eye-opener for me to be like, actually, like there's many ways that we can help people. Communication is a really strong tool in your toolkit as well. And, you can get really creative. And so I think in the end, it just gave me a renewed sense of like what we're doing is needed. It is essential. It is like, and people want it. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think coming out the other end, it's for people that are like, were there before and then come out the other end. I think we all have that shared experience. It's a bit different than I think people that like maybe were in school during the pandemic, went through all that hardship, come out, and then like trying to enter the work field at the height of the pandemic. I can say for certain that their experience is like quite different. So,
It was crazy. I remember we thought we were going to be closed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And like, okay, it's crazy. We shut down and we'll be back. And it just went on. But what is also crazy, and you kind of alluded to it, was how quickly we adapted. Like new operations, new like telehealth up and running. It was just like bang on. Like even with like the CERB stuff, and some of our practitioners took CERB, some didn't, and we had to figure out like, okay, like you can make $1,000 at most, and before or after that you don't qualify for CERB. So let's like make sure. It was just like we were really busy like on the back end. Like I was probably the most busiest time of like those 2 years, just figuring things out. Some people were just at home chilling, watching Netflix, but we were like, our management team was, I'm sure you guys too, were just going crazy. And so that was cool seeing how, when, shit hits the fan, how you can quickly just pivot and just like keep the ship rolling.
We were so lucky though to have, just the benefits that people, because people still had their jobs and they still had their benefits, and even people who were losing their jobs, they still had time, so to use their benefits. So I don't know. I feel like the whole time I was just like, we're so lucky that this is what this industry.
I think we were, barely a year open, and then COVID hit.
Oh man!
So like you think about being a year into your business, and now you're like, okay, no revenue or limited revenue for X amount of months, right? And I think for us, it was just we got together and we tried to figure out ways to still keep the team engaged. I think during that winter, I remember we dropped off Christmas gifts to everybody's house just outside their porch.
That's cool.
And just let them know. We had like a wine class together.
Oh, that's cool.
On Zoom. We had somebody do baking sessions. So just like, thinking outside the box, man, like how can we, still interact? How can we still chat with each other, see each other, right? Try to keep people as engaged as possible. So, but yeah, I mean, weather the storm, right?
Yeah.
I think, that's like former athletes, you go through shit, you go through an injury, you got to figure out a way to climb out that box, right? So I think it just goes back to probably what you learn as high level athletes, and you just adapt, right?
Yeah. I find before COVID, there was a bit more like predictable seasonality in the industry. And I don't know what you guys, but I feel it's not the same.
Agreed.
And I was like, what's going on? Like the first year, I'm like, oh, okay. And now like it's kind of sticking around a little bit. You'd have like, okay, like your spring break, it's probably going to be kind of quiet, but like all of a sudden spring break's kind of a little bit busy. And it's a little bit harder to predict, even kind of looking through our numbers as well too. It's just a little different post-COVID.
Yeah, we would probably be able to hang our hat on January being a little bit slow, early January, and then summer being slow, and then COVID hit, and then that's just thrown out the window. Yeah. I think, it helped that nobody was vacationing, right? So everybody was around.
That's what it's based on now.
Yeah. And
when
now
are practitioners on vacation?
Yeah, exactly. Now everyone, I feel like, is going back to travel, if not more than ever. So it's so unpredictable in terms of like a flow of patients.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to settle. I don't know if this is the new norm. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I mean, I think I think it's probably better for business if things are more steady and isn't these roller coaster seasonality, because I think that's a challenge for even just like an individual practitioner to be like content with that. I don't know. I also kind of feel like the average client is much more discerning of what is maybe their vision of high quality and not, right? I think it's such a good thing because, I mean, in reality, whether it's this season or not, like your goals are still important and you shouldn't be like disengaging with what you're doing, right? So, you know, it doesn't like, oh, it's January, I'm chilling now. But like, you know, that's just arbitrary dates on a calendar. So I think it's a positive thing, right? And I'd like to kind of think that maybe people are motivated no matter what time of year to continue and stick with their goals and things like that.
And the importance of just sort of, you know, maintenance. I think at some point, or the longer I've treated, you know, specifically as a practitioner for me, most of my clientele is just they almost aren't really injured. They're coming in for maintenance now, you know, and at that point, it's like I'll look at my individual schedule and see if it is, you know, more consistent. There's not that seasonality, but then overall but I think that just takes time, you know, this seasonality sort of comes, I think, as you see it more in the clinic than in the individual, unless, you know, it's a new practitioner getting their foot on the ground. But
yeah, I think there's some people who just want to feel good when they're doing their things, whether it's working out, biking, running, right? And so they just want to, I think it's just like even when we're athletes, we want to feel our best. So you just apply the same principle to their daily tasks and they just want to feel the best when they're doing it, right? So how can we help them get there, right? Yeah. And there's different unique ways that we do it. And
I think that's a bit of a byproduct of being in, you know, BC, Vancouver, that it's just so active and people do whatever they need to do to stay active so they can, you know, keep hiking or cycling or running, and, you know, they have this little niggle there, but like, you know what, I'm not gonna let this blow up to be a big thing. So they'll come in for some maintenance or some treatment or prehab almost as well.
Yeah. And I don't think any of us got into clinic ownership thinking like, okay, we're doing this because we want to get rich, right? Yeah. Like, I think we're all in this knowing that, okay, this isn't like my means to get rich in any way. Like there's 10 other ways that I can explore if I want to make more money.
Cryptocurrency.
Right? Yeah. Because I mean, like living in Vancouver and then being in BC, right? Like our costs are super high for small businesses, right? And they've only gone up. Yeah. But if you look at the back end of our rates or whatever it may be, you know, things have been status quo, right? Like one of like my best friends and helps lead our clinic, like he's been working on a bunch of committees and just talking about even like, look at our MSP rate. Right? It's been, I think, $23 since like the 90s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. You know, it's like, and it hasn't changed in like 20 years. Right. And so I think it's just advocacy, right? Like we need to do more advocacy for our profession. Right. And, you know, in that sense, just speak up about the things that, you know, we need, right, to improve.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And it's interesting because there's this tug of war between, you know, increasing your rates, you know, to keep up with inflation or whatever. But then, you know, things like, you know, insurance billing, ICBC, they're not bumping up the rates with the rate of that, you know, the industry needs to grow. So is there going to be a point in time where it kind of gets a little too expensive for people? Yeah. Like, you know, I have like some pretty good income and I have good benefits. Like, man, like, you know, $200 for a 30-minute appointment just doesn't fly, right? Totally. When you're only getting covered for whatever. Like, so it's an interesting kind of tug of war. And I wonder if that's going to come, you know, in the next like 5 years or so, if things don't change from like the insurance billing side of things. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you would hope so, right? Like you would hope that it would kind of transcend in the right direction. I think it'll probably just come with our groups advocating for costs going up and just making sure that our ends are covered, right? Because our margins, like, you know, obviously fluctuate, but they're not massive.
No, they're not massive.
Yeah, they're not massive, right?
Everyone out there, they're not massive.
Yeah.
We're not raking it in and going
people
on vacations. It's not phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's We've had that chat a few times, even with some practitioners and stuff. Like, guys, like, we're doing okay, but we're not like Scrooge McDuck swimming in like, you know, yeah.
And anytime if you have like a really good month, you know, I think most clinic owners would probably reinvesting it back into your staff or your clinic, right? And so it's like a constant continuum, right? It's not, you're just like, okay, I'm going to take that and run away now, right? Like, I mean, I wish it was that way, but that's just not the reality of how our practices are built, right?
Yeah. That's actually a bit of a good segue in terms of, you know, having a bit of that financial freedom. And, you know, we love treating, and I feel the money is a byproduct of having a good clinic. It's not the main focus. It is a byproduct. But to get to that point, And like, how was it, I guess, opening up a clinic, and if you guys have like significant others and wives, children, balancing that? Because are you a new mother?
Yeah,
Mel?
new mom.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, how was that? And I know you have Gil and Vic.
No kids yet. No.
Yeah. You're just
living the dream.
You're living the life.
Yeah.
You're living the life.
Me and Vic over here.
Yeah.
Still trying to take care of myself, man. Yeah.
So how did you find that, like growing your business and having a partner?
Take it away, Gil.
Sure. So for me, like I immigrant parents, and so like the idea of building a business was always like deeply ingrained in me, even from when I was a kid, even before I even knew that I wanted to be a physio. And physio was like a more of a conduit to be like, actually, you can like open a successful business in this industry. My wife's also a physio. We went to school together. So that comes with its challenges of, just trying to delineate those two things. And we opened the Chinatown clinic in like March of 2019 or end of February. And at that time, my wife was working at another clinic in North Van. And we pulled her over because I was like, hey, you got to come work for the family business, right? It'll be great. And then it ended up that I was the clinic director and then she was my direct report. And it was terrible.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
You can imagine, like, there's no level of, like, communication and things like that can solve those things. But we made it work. And then 3 months after we opened the clinic, our first child was born.
Oh, my gosh.
He was born at 32 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So 8 weeks early. It was obviously no one plans for that. And so I kind of feel like what that did for me was I kind of feel like I got to this point of just being like, I had a lot of high capacity. I can stay up late. I can work long hours and no problem. Right. And then what I realized is once you have a kid and family, then you really have to prioritize. There are only so many hours in a day. So what it actually forced me to do was actually be way more intentional with my time. And just kind of reprioritize. I became a morning person. I used to be a crazy night person. I love staying up really late, and now I can't keep my eyes open past 9:30. But I think that's just life and the evolution of things. And I think everyone's going to experience these kind of like pivotal moments in your life that make you, pull your head out of the weeds and have to kind of reprioritize and things. But for sure, it gives you like another sense of motivation. It's like, I'm not doing this just for myself. There are other things at stake here as well. And although before I used to kind of view my team as like, these are all my children now. And I'm like, actually, I got my own kids now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
screw you guys. This is my child.
Screw you guys. But it's just like a different way of looking at it. And like you nurture each relationship in a different way. But I would say that I came out the back end of it like a lot more resilient as well. It's just like another thing that kind of comes along like the pandemic or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that having a kid and going through a marriage is like enduring a pandemic. That's not what I'm saying here. But everything adds positive to your, to your toolkit and your experiences.
Cool.
I feel like I'm tired, Gil. You didn't say anything about fatigue in there.
Well, that's because no one can win the who's more tired competition.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I will never go against her. I think where we spoke about this earlier, but where I'm lucky, I mean, I still work full time with Cell and 5 days a week, full capacity. I think I've skimmed off my evenings because I want to be home for bedtime, like basically making it home for dinner and bedtime. But I mean, I'm lucky to have a great partner who's so supportive, played high performance, played soccer professionally. So she gets that mentality and we definitely share that common. Like that's our common thread for sure. I would say where I'm very lucky is that I'm a 3-minute walk from home.
Oh,
so it's so simple.
Yeah,
I don't have any commute. I can make it home. And if there's an emergency, I can make it home. I'm there in the mornings with her. And as soon as I come home, I think that's the hard part, right? She's 11 months now. So now you have to play with him and like be fully on. So I have my, Sal can attest to this because I have my like 3.5 hours with her when I get home on my early days. And then my evenings, I have that 1.5 hours. And then I am texting or emailing up until
getting caught up.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's been good. Since Ren, her daughter, since she's come, I don't get that midnight bombardment of absolute anxiety text messages that could easily be dealt with the next morning.
Putting me on blast. Listen, gotta get it off the chest.
I was like, thank you, Ren. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just getting a stern text at 10.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. It does really. Your day gets chunked and you really compartmentalize a little bit. Like you always have some stuff going on in the background in terms of work, but like when you're at home and you just fully kind of jump into it. And I know I have 2 children now, and like you're so bagged when you come home, but you open up the door and you just get this like, it's just like, it's like boom, it just a switch flips and
dad mode.
And it's I don't know, you kind of get a new energy and then you crash at like 9.
Yeah.
But for those few hours, it's pretty beautiful, and you just find another gear somehow. But I think back to when my wife and I, when we were dating and we're trying to get everything started, and it's a lot of sacrifice, and that's another thing that sports teaches you is sacrifice, and it's a lot of sacrifice. But that person sticks with you and they believe in you, and they, I'm sure it would have been great if you could have done a few more vacations and stuff, but you're trying to like save money and open up a clinic and whatnot. So kind of having that person by you, kind of ride through all like the crazy stuff, and then that you're going to be successful. You believe it. It's like, hey, this is all going to be worth it in the end. Trust me. These kind of hard times now, and you just kind of grind through, and that person sticks with you. But it's challenging for sure. In the early years, and now we're kind of into it, and it's kind of just you're going to automatic pilot. But it must be really tough on their side of things. I can imagine.
I tell my partner that all the time. I'm like, you just wait.
Yeah,
you just wait.
Like I got you. Trust me.
Your gift is coming. I promise.
Yeah.
I would also say like having. I don't know if you both have business partners now, but having a great business partner is like key to success, right? In your family life, in your all personal life as well as the business. So, I mean, Selenia, we've known each other for too long, and she's been amazing throughout all of this. And like, she understands the hardship and like the trying times like we're going through as a family. And I mean, just having someone who's going to ride or die and make sure the clinic's running when you're shut off or sleeping.
Picking up the slack.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we all have, because you're part of, a big organization. You have 1 or 2 business partners.
1 business partner.
Yeah. And the same with myself. And, you just have each other's back. You pick up the slack when the other one can't. And then we also have our operations manager is unreal too. So on like the stuff I don't want to really look at and touch, that's their wheelhouse there too. So yeah, having that team just makes, everyone can just take a little bit of a breath sometimes and actually enjoy their personal life, get a little bit better work-life balance.
For sure. Go ahead.
I think in the short term, it's just like, obviously there's a busy time. You're so tied up with things, and obviously you guys are even more tied up with kids. But I think if you have the goal of eventually it's going to give you some freedom, whether that's with time, financially, whatever it may be, there's something to look forward to down that road, right? And it's just communicating with your partner. And like, I know me and my wife have talked a lot about that, and having that goal or that mindset of down the road, having a little bit more freedom so that we can do the things that we want to do. Yeah, I mean, in the short term, it sucks. Yeah. Right. But then we can all attest to that, right? But yeah, like I've got a good work wife with my business partner, right? Cool. So he picks up if I leave, and lately I've been doing a lot of travel work. With the rest of the team.
Instagram's crazy.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild.
You're hanging out with you're hanging with some crazy people.
Yeah, my last year's been pretty nuts. Yeah, it's been pretty fun.
This guy's hanging out with The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hanging out with Shaq. Crazy. I had to creep all you guys on your social medias and Wikipedias to get ready for this. So I fully admit I was creeping hard. I was doing research. But yeah.
I think on that point, dude, it's all about, in time with your business partners, you really find your niche, like Mel sort of has her thing she's good at, better at than me, and me the same way. And I think at maximizing the time, then we don't have time. There's no time.
No. Yeah. And I guess you maneuver. Like I was supposed to do an in-service for our staff, but I had to leave to Hungary last minute. So I remember I had to wake up 4 a.m. in Hungary because it was 7 p.m. in Vancouver, and I led it at 4 a.m. in Hungary because I was like, hey, shit's got to get done still, right? I can't be the reason these guys are going to miss out on this, right? So
cool.
Just shift, pivot, right?
Yeah. Resilience. You said it a few times, this resilience, you got to figure it out.
But I think what I'm hearing from this is like, I think clinic owner life can be quite lonely. it's a small population, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I think when you don't have a sound anymore, you feel like all your problems are happening in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
And, us sitting here now, it's like, we'll all deal with the same things, right?
And this is therapy, baby.
Yeah.
It is therapy, yeah. Where's the tissue box?
So what do you guys do to like, I guess, refill your cup? Like because it's hard, but like, what do you guys do because we give a lot. We're giving to our team, we're giving to our business partners, we're giving to our patients, we're giving to people in our personal relationships. But so what do you guys do for yourselves to kind of refill and reset?
I'm like,
You're the opposite of me.
I feel like I've got to be the absolute definition of an extrovert because, I mean, I'm so, at work, you're chit-chatting all day. I feel like all my patients are my friends. And then I need about an hour of just silence.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes after work, I'll just get in the car and I'll just sit. But then I'm like ready to go again. And it's funny though. It's not like it wouldn't be in a, I don't want a treat, but my refreshing feeling, is just meeting friends or
More
like
social.
more social, the social things, or just like going to a concert or just going out, going for dinner. I need that it's still extroverted. It's not, I don't need my alone time,
Mm-hmm.
but I need that socialness
You
again
feed off the
in
energy.
a different environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And travel.
And travel.
Need
Okay,
that.
that's travel.
Getting out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I have to have a trip planned always for me to like keep grinding.
I need that hour, same thing. I need that hour of the day to just like, I put my headphones on, go work out. I think for me, like I'm a happy camper as long as I get my workout in. If you take my workout away from me, I'm probably going to be crabby. Yeah, I'm not going to be myself. So that's usually my like escape. I'm trying to get better at slowing down. I think like that's what I'm trying to learn more of just, the mindfulness and actually enjoying silence. That's the hard part, is trying to just sit there and meditate and chill. And I think I'm always on the go and I try to keep myself so busy. So I think I'm getting better at it. And I think I find a lot of like solace in that now too, is it doesn't always have to be about just, running, right. And continuously on the go. So
Cool.
Another way to just recharge the battery, in a different way, right?
Nice. How about
Yeah, I mean,
yourself?
for
my man?
myself, I feel kind of bad to talk about this. I feel like I just got back to like doing things that fill my cup again. Because it was like 2 kids, like pandemic, running a business. And then, I was just kind of just prioritizing like my wife getting back to like her activities and everything. And I kind of feel like I finally got the bandwidth to get back to mine. So for myself, I love to cook. So
Cool.
I guess like just taking a sharp knife and cutting something feels really nice.
Dexter.
No. I like it because actually it's like I kind of feel like it's my only creative outlet. I feel like my job is so technical, and so I kind of feel like just like a technician when I do it. But when it comes to cooking, I feel like there's a technique aspect, but it's like kind of like this creative art thing that only exists for a fleeting moment and then it's gone. So I kind of like that aspect. And I've just got back into regular jiu-jitsu. For me, it was just kind of like, I needed some kind of competitive outlet. I've never been good at just like working out and work and doing that. Like I always dream of being able to just go to the gym and enjoy that. I just can't. So for myself, I just like, I guess I enjoy
Taking people down.
Yeah, I guess. Getting choked down. I just want to feel something.
Started turning into an X-rated podcast right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Between cutting things and being choked out.
Talking about being choked out.
Just talking about all the stressors in life, right?
Nice.
But yeah, I think just like, physical activity, just getting an outlet where you get out. And same kind of thing though, I think like you spend all day talking small talk. And so I'm always a strong proponent of like every day spend a bit of time by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really important. The nice thing is my wife's also a physio. So we both, after a long day of small talk all over, like it's totally cool if we both come home and sit and just be quiet.
Yeah.
And cook your own dinners.
Yeah, exactly. We have a comfortable silence.
There you go.
Because I have some like, other colleagues that have their partners may work in like from home and they sit in front of a computer all day. And so they're like, as soon as they get home, they're like, I want to talk to a human.
Yeah.
And so they just get blasted.
Yeah.
Like, I've just been talking to humans all day.
All day.
So
Can't do it anymore.
yeah.
That's cool. How about you, Emil?
I would say very similar to Vic. I mean, I have the hour of silence a bit here and there, but definitely need some physical activity. But I think now, with my tender age, I've been going on more walks.
Okay.
Walks are
All right.
necessary for me.
Walks.
Also,
all right.
like in Chinatown, we're in a basement. So
yeah.
my partner and I love our little loop along the seawall,
Cool.
you know, where the grandmas walk in the same loop.
Fresh air.
And yeah, fresh air. Just, I mean, this place is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm from Ontario, so I moved here for a reason. So just needing that outdoor connection. I know that's so, everyone's so cliche to say that here, but I definitely, being in Chinatown and in a basement and talking all day and doing the same thing every single day, I just need to be out, whether it's like just walking the seawall or just sitting in a park. Definitely just need to be outside.
Cool.
Need to feel human a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that
It's funny you say
vitamin
that.
D.
Like as you get older, you start listening to your body a lot more.
Yes.
Right. And it's like back in the day, like 10 years ago, you'd force that
Just
workout.
push.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for a nice walk.
Yeah.
Right. And you feel great after, and you're not
100%.
killing yourself. Right. Yeah.
W-
yeah.
I-
Call
We've
it
pulled
fat
out-
burning. That's fat burning, right?
Yeah. There you go. There you
Still
go.
have that piece of
Yeah,
cake.
exactly.
Right?
I feel like
Right.
So too.
we've pulled out like games again. Do you guys like? I don't know. I played cards when I was young, and now like Monopoly Deal is
Oh, it gets intense.
my partner's. I go to at night.
Oh, sweet.
Becoming problematic. That's our chill time.
I have a pack of Uno I need to bust open.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Watch out.
Yeah, my niece, I'm going back to Winnipeg tomorrow, actually, and my one niece is like an animal at Uno. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I got to bust that
You gotta
out,
get
so.
into Monopoly Deal. Have you played it?
I've heard about it.
Gosh,
Yeah, my brother-in-law has
so
actually told
good.
me about it.
Or Skippo. Skippo's a good one.
You get like that competitive edge too. My partner
Okay.
really wants to ring.
We don't have any. Also, we don't have any affiliation with any of these games. Just putting that out there
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
They're not sponsors, right? That was
yet,
not
not
product
yet.
placement.
If you want to be, right? Yeah,
Hey,
different, right?
yeah, if you guys want to throw up some sponsorship, we can talk. We can talk.
Monopoly Deal sponsorship.
There's gonna be a bunch of stressed out therapists
Yeah.
out there buying up all
Yeah.
the monopolies.
free plug for them. Okay, well, guys, this has been great. So I like having a little game called This or That. And yeah, we're just gonna see kind of what you guys like a little bit. And you guys kind of alluded to it a little bit. So this or that, and would you guys rather be in the gym or go on a hike?
Jim.
Gym. Okay.
Hike.
All right.
Jim.
Jim.
I'm a gym guy too.
Love it. Get
okay.
out of here.
Okay. What's on your feet, or what would you rather be on your feet? Chuck Taylors or Air Force Ones?
Ooh.
J's on my feet.
There you go. Okay.
Chucks.
I'm going to have to say Air Force Ones.
I'll say Chucks because the last time I bought Air Force Ones, like didn't fit my feet. And really,
I'm neither actually. I'd be a Jordan guy, or yeah, but
You didn't get that option.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know,
I'm like
know.
a black boot girl.
I know. Okay, well, we can put that in there. Chucks for black boots. She's going full on military black boot girl.
That's right. That's
All
right.
Are you a night owl or an early bird? Like, if you had to get some work done, are you getting up at the crack of dawn, or are you staying up till midnight?
Staying
Night.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the night. There's something peaceful about the night.
Yeah.
I like the night, but my capacity has shifted to more morning.
More
So
morning.
definitely, like in the last year, there's definitely a lot more like wake up at 5 a.m. and try to
Yeah.
get everything done before the kids get up.
I'm a night guy as well, but I've shifted more towards a little bit morning stuff. But all day, if I could, I'd be up till like 12:30.
Yeah.
I want to be
Just
morning. Like I
Me
wish
too.
my
Same.
body was
I
awake at
know.
5, but I am in
Same.
deep
I'm
REM.
envious of those
Same.
people. Like, I'm up at 5, and so like,
Yeah.
I don't need to drink coffee. It's like,
No.
I love love getting stuff done at night, and then I always realize like, man, the world doesn't work on this schedule,
No.
Yeah.
right? And I wish it did.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it's because sleep ends up being like our reward after. Versus in the morning, if you work, then you're like, okay, now I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do it at night, you're like, now I got to go to sleep.
It's a reward.
I'm gonna keep that one. I like that. It's like a nice little reward to
Yeah.
kind of just like, you've earned your sleep.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. M&Ms or Smarties?
I'm going to judge everyone on this one.
Me too. That's why I put it
Smarties.
in there. Okay.
I need to hear. Is this just
I need to hear
regular
This is
from
M&Ms?
regular
Okay.
chocolate
Okay.
for both.
Yeah.
Vic, don't let me down.
I think I'm gonna go M&Ms.
For the chocolate ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. So I'm not big on sweets, so it's kind of like whatever. But I'll go.
It's like this
I'll
or
go-
that.
No, I'm just feeling judged.
Yeah,
I gotta say M&Ms.
The answer is Smarties.
Because that is the correct
That
answer.
is the correct answer.
is Smarties.
Yes.
Good.
Smarties is the
If it was
superior.
peanut M&Ms, I'd jump.
It's
I'd
different.
jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Smarties are legit.
They're
Although I
more
can't
milk chocolate. I know they're both milk chocolate, but there's something
Something's
about
different.
Is one
Smarties.
American and one Canadian? Or Smarties Canadian?
Smarties are Canadian for sure, but I don't know where the chocolate's from. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Could be the
they
same
just taste
factory.
better.
Great
Probably.
question.
Great question. We'll have to fact check that or Google that and put it in the show notes or something. All right. If you have to sit down and veg out and watch a show, are you watching a drama or are you watching a comedy?
Drama.
Drama, 100%.
Yeah, drama.
Drama. We're all dramatic people.
I love a documentary though.
Oh,
Like some
documentary
just
or
like real
some
life.
real stuff?
Yeah, real. And like, give me that crime. Give me that crime.
the
doc.
crime docus. All right. Well, I think we got to know each other a little bit better. That was great.
I feel like we're all best friends
Yeah,
now.
we're all
That's
best
it.
friends. Some people have some questionable candy choices, but I don't judge.
I think you said this is a safe place.
Okay, guys, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's,
you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate
it.
3, 2, 1.
I'd like to thank today's sponsors for making this episode happen. Our first sponsor is Courtside Bar on Main Street. Today's episode is recorded in probably one of the coolest and unique restaurants I've been to. That's why we chose to film the episode there, to be honest. Courtside is Vancouver's spot for games, eats, craft beer, and cocktails. For those of you only listening to the audio version of the pod today, I highly recommend watching the YouTube version as we envision the episode to be a visual and audio experience for the listeners, strictly because Courtside was such a cool spot to do a really amazing episode in. Go in and hang out with them at 2414 Main Street in Vancouver, Courtside Bar on Main. Food, drinks, buckets. Clarity State Media. Are your brand visuals really doing your business justice? Establish your online presence with custom branded web design, digital promotions, and print materials that build authority and speak to the audience you're looking for. Visit claritystatemedia.com to find out more. Linksprint is a Vancouver-based printing company providing clients with a wide range of printing services from business cards and flyers to sandwich boards, bus shelter ads, and much, much more. Their team of dedicated professionals is made up of industry-leading graphic designers and pre- and press operators, along with knowledgeable production individuals and finishing experts that believe in providing unsurpassed service in the printing industry. We've used them at my company, Coach Performance Rehab, since our inception and frequently get great compliments on their work. Check them out at Linkprints, that's spelled Linx, print.com. You can find links to all of our sponsors in the episode show notes. Today's episode was produced by Nathan Chan at Fist Bumps Filmworks, and a special shout out to my guy Ari for pointing me in the right direction and helping me get this all started. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.